substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Canaan Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Wednesday, the 7th day of December 2022. Right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands, we hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators when navigating a roundabout and when changing lanes. I urge you not to be like the driver of a white pickup truck with a black gate. The tailgate is black. I believe that I caught the name of the company, but I'm not 100% certain, so I won't call it. But the license plate number is 195473. And I'm saying to you, don't be like that driver where you wait until the last minute when you get near to the cones that divide two lanes that allows traffic to, that basically segregates traffic. So if you're going to South Sound, you're in the left lane. When you get to those cones, once you're in those, you're not allowed to you can't change lanes. But the driver of this white pickup truck with the black tailgate, license plate number 195473, get in your lane early so that you don't end up cutting other drivers off when you're something like less than 20 feet away from where the road divides. And I'm going to repeat that license plate number again, 195473, a white pickup truck with a black tailgate on it as well. Folks, my advice to you on the roads, if you don't have to be out there, don't go out there, because there's some crazy driving going on. And when I say crazy, that includes all and sundry Caymanians as well as those who are here to work. When you take people who have never been behind the wheel of a vehicle before, and you allow them to get into vehicles here and to drive, then we know what we're experiencing. When you have people who are smoking their herb in the morning when you're driving or you're riding and you can smell them smoking the herb at 6:30 in the morning, something is wrong. Those are the people that present a danger on our roads. So if you don't have to be out there, folks, don't go out there, because it is crazy. And like I said, it includes Caymanian drivers as well. So the driver of white pickup truck with a black tailgate, license plate number 195473. Correct your errant ways, otherwise you're endangering other person's lives, and you may think that because you're in a pretty big pickup truck that you're safe as well. There's always something out there that's bigger than you, and one of these days you will end up challenging that bigger vehicle as well, and it may not be pretty after all. So that is my monologue this morning when it comes to traffic on the roads of the Cayman Islands. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. And we want to remind you that, for the record, birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. And he reminds you to make the right decision for your family's future today. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. And I want to extend condolences to the Customs and Border Control family for losing, who unfortunately lost one of their members. I believe that the individual is still working with Customs and Border Control, well known, or may have been retired, but well known, and I'm sure that his Customs and Border Control colleagues, whether or not he was still employed with them, will certainly miss him, and we want to extend special condolences to all of the employees at Customs and Border Control on the loss, as well as the family of the individual. For those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, busy and dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow, that toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and of course we are on Facebook as well. So, the birthday shoutouts that are being brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and reminding you to make the right decision for your family's future today. We want to recognize some birthdays that are being celebrated today. Claudette Miles celebrating a birthday. Sheena Ebanks celebrating a birthday. Marjorie Hall celebrating a birthday. June Lee Brooks also celebrating a birthday, and Erilyn Thompson celebrating a birthday as well. And for tomorrow, tomorrow is the 8th of December. We have Dean Stewart, Randy Ebanks, Jonathan Williams, Faris Brown, Susan Matthews, also celebrating a birthday tomorrow, December the 8th. Denise DeMarcado, also celebrating Miss Denise, celebrating a birthday tomorrow as well. I want to wish Miss Denise a happy birthday. Sandra Castillo, Alyssa Ebanks, and on the 9th of December, Mary Trumbach celebrating a birthday as well. And folks, to remind you that the birthday shoutouts proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he reminds you to make the right decision for your family's future today. We are going to take a break. We do have a caller. Also to remind you that at 10 o'clock this morning, the proceedings in our parliament will start, and to remind you that you can follow them live right here on Radio Cayman 105.3 FM. We hope and we trust that they will start on time. There will be a new speaker in the chair, so I think that you would want to show her, extend that respect to her to ensure that you are there on time and ready to start on time as well. Meanwhile, I want to say to all of our listeners that those of you who are contemplating doing business with governmental departments during the holiday season, that you want to take note of their office closures, the dates and times of their office closures as well. And if time allows this morning, I will share as much as I possibly can with you, including a media advisory that Customs and Border Control has issued regarding importing goods for the holiday season as well. So folks, we're going to take a first commercial break. We do have a caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return. So don't go anywhere. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The Wesleyan Ministry Society saw its rise between 1837 and 1844. The central figure to the movement was Reverend James Atkins, with his opening visit in May of 1837. Now, while Reverend Atkins praised his predecessor, Reverend David Wilson, on his friendly demeanor, Reverend Atkins did not express content with his other views. In his writings to the Wesleyan Ministry House in London, Reverend Atkins wrote of the conditions of the churches and his concern of the spiritual condition of the people, saying they were living without God or hope in the world. Atkins also emphasized his contempt for the culture and physical differences which were still in place from the former masters compared to their former slaves.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamp Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vance Motors, Walkers Road.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my healthcare instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No, can't stop me when I taste the
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
With costs and insecurities rising, staying grounded and focused is what your family needs. Life insurance covers your family and mortgage protection. Peace of mind is mental health awareness.
Life insurance, the sure way to protect your family. I'm Michael Webster. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster. Let's discuss your peace of mind today. Call me at 925-5433. Think life insurance.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on hold, so let's go straight to the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Okay, caller isn't there. So I said to you that you want to take notice of the government, various government departments, because some of them will be closed for various reasons. So the passport office, they have issued a notice that the passport and corporate services office located in Sussex House, in a Sussex House building, will close early on Friday the 9th of December 2022 at 12 noon to facilitate a staff function. They advise that the office will reopen to on regular hours on Monday, the 12th of December. They apologize for any inconvenience Friday's early closing might cause. So, folks, if you're planning on traveling on the weekend, go tomorrow or today and pick up your documents if that's what you need to do. Please do that, because Friday they will be closing at 12 noon. I believe the caller has rejoined us. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, sir. You could have finished the preamble. Come on. But anyway, I was listening to your opening, talking about people with smoking 6:30 in the morning and driving past. Well, that's been a practice that I noticed since the storm. Noticed it down by Dora Bay and up on Crew Road. I mean, Shade Road, going up to Crew Road. That was a regular thing. Call the police, call them. Nobody turned up. But anyhow, that was way back millenniums ago. And I hear we're talking about legal. Let me not put words in anybody's mouth. Decriminalizing, which if you decriminalize is something, I don't know why I should call that, but legalizing it, and then I will advertise it. But okay, bear patience with yourself and get used to the situation and circumstance. It's coming, and they don't need to add on all about you can only do it here and there, because those people are so much in your face right now with the hubris of, the courage, the smoke courage, the leaf courage. Can you only imagine after it's decriminalized and they can just, do anything they want? Oh, wow. But anyway, I was just saying, I just called you to say that your 1-800 number still not working. So,
Okay, Miss Susan is listening to that. We'll check that out as well and see. How are things going otherwise? All prepared for the holidays? What are your plans?
Listen to me. I found one little Cayman guy that makes plenty sandwiches, and they're so good.
Corned beef?
Somebody good. Yeah, somebody good.
Oh.
I'm just, because everybody cooks and everybody sends.
I haven't had a corned beef sandwich in quite a while.
No, hush them out now. I get them yesterday. No, I believe they might already gone out. But they came on sandwiches as much as they can be. But me, I'll do that, and I'll be just as happy, because I don't really cook all that Christmas thing for Christmas, because everybody be cooking and sending. So for a long time now, I don't do that. I don't do much for Christmas, honestly.
Yeah. And we would... Go ahead, sorry.
If you could try to find me a real fruitcake now, that is two cats, father and son fighting.
A fruitcake?
Yeah, I say a real fruitcake, prefaced by the word real.
Okay. Now, you have to describe it. Tell me what your definition of real is. There are some people who grind up the fruits and stuff like that. Some people cut them in smaller chunks. How do you like it ground up?
No. The same way that what's her name again? I can't remember. Lulu's sister used to do that.
Lulu, down in Schoolhouse Road.
No, down with Louis Ebanks, right out there in Shaden.
Which one, Miss
Nanette?
Nanette,
The same way Miss Nanette and Miss Jenny's, and them people like that, Baba, and them people like that. You soak your fruit probably from January to December. No later than around April, May, though. And then you do what you gotta do. With all of the things you got to do with it, like 2 or 3 kinds of nuts and your cherries and all this pineapple that they put into them. Oh my gosh! I can't handle it. I want a real, authentic fruit cake made with eggs.
Okay.
Apple eggs.
Okay.
All that what are spices that don't really go for all spice. Not all that all spice. Some people could pinch it in and you would know the difference. But oh my gosh.
Okay.
On a syrup Caymanian food.
Yeah. By the way, on Monday, we're going to have a panel in the studio, as well as we will have some of our older Caymanians on the phone lines, and we will be talking, with the people from the ministry and department, talking about old Cayman Christmases and things of that nature. And we're going to have a show at least once every month that will be dedicated to our older persons in the Cayman Islands. So starting on the 12th.
Thank you. That at least October we know they live in, but the other 11 months now we don't know what happens to. So thanks a ton. Thanks a ton.
Okay. All right.
And tell them not to give away their recipes. You can talk about the good food, but don't give away your recipes. Your great-grandchildren might need that to become a Sierra Lee. And these people are just coaching, because they know. But I'm glad to hear that. And you can talk about them slider party and
yes.
And Jenny's fudge. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, and yep. I hope I get a chance to talk this morning as well about the Trade Winds newspaper, the Christmas serenades, and for the month. Let me find a date on here. The 29th of December, 1966. There's a photograph of the Christmas serenaders and a photograph of Mr. Elon Pars, Mr. Scheifler Miles, Kaislyn Seymour, Bowiwo,
yes.
Mr. Burley Miles, Clyde Seymour, Egerton Miles, Calvin Ramon, Michael Johnson, Ivan McPhail, the leader, Clarence Rivers, vocal supporters, Norman Borden, J.D. Martin, George Borden, and Dan Stewart. All of those things we're going to be sharing. But I got to go now. It's top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. We will talk later. Have a great day. I wanted to share with you the private members' motion that's the government motion that is being put forward as well. Referendum on national lottery and decriminalization of small quantities of cannabis. Time allows, I will share that with you. We hope to have the leader of the opposition as well as his deputy in the studio with us later on. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
It's a twice as nice Christmas at Foster's.
And this year, you could win $10K of free groceries.
To enter, just purchase any 2 specially marked products at any Foster's supermarket location or shop online with Foster's Go.
We have over $30,000 in prizes and donations to give away.
To win and give this Christmas, go to fosters.ky/twiceasnice.
Thanks to Pepperidge Farm, Campbell's, Prego, Pacific Foods, and certified Angus beef. It's always a twice as nice Christmas at Foster's.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. 911 confirms to Radio Cayman a motor vehicle accident happened near the Esso on the Run gas station in Red Bay this morning. Radio Cayman's April Cummings filed this report shortly after the crash, which occurred around 6:30 a.m.
Hi, Carsley. This accident appears to involve a single vehicle. It is overturned right in front of the On the Run gas station, just east of Grand Harbor. It's not actually in the road, but on the side, right basically in front of the gas station. There are 2 police cars on scene. I saw a fire truck headed in the same direction just a couple of minutes ago of filing this report. An ambulance was there and did make its way to the hospital. It's not clear whether there are any injuries or not. I couldn't see, how many people were involved, but definitely, quite a sight on the roads this morning. So far, there wasn't any impact on traffic headed into town from the eastern districts, I think because it's in the opposite direction of traffic, but even traffic headed in the other direction look pretty wide open at this stage. For now, traffic is moving pretty well and definitely quite a dramatic sight on the roads this morning.
Radio K-Man's April Cummings there reporting from Red Bay. Make sure to keep it locked to Radio K-Man as we follow this developing story. A special workshop is held after a spike in suspected marriage or civil partnership of convenience cases. Statistics provided by Judicial Administration show marriage and divorce rates in Cayman have spiked in the past 5 years. Back in 2016, there were 150 divorces and 493 marriages, while in 2021, there were 266 divorces and 655 marriages, excluding tourist marriages. Work says marriage and civil partnership officers should realize the important part they play in risk managing potential sham marriages. Since the beginning of this year, Work Compliance and Enforcement has investigated 175 marriage reports received, of which 114 cases resulted in adverse findings. 25 cases remain pending investigation. 20 RERC certificates were refused, 12 forfeited, and 5 mindful to revoke. 43 marriage officers attended the workshop. There are various possible reasons why individuals may enter into a marriage or civil partnership of convenience to gain an immigration-related benefit, but it is most frequently done to be able to remain in Cayman or to, quote, legally obtain employment. And industry leaders specializing in sustainability, leadership, audit, virtual assets, ethics, and other topics integral to the financial services industry are gathering today at the Kimpton for the CIIPA Momentum Conference. The two-day event features both local and international speakers and supports the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants' vision of being a key contributor to the credibility and sustainability of the Cayman Islands. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News for Jerry Smith. China has announced a major policy change by abandoning some key COVID controls. The about turn appears to have been sparked by rare anti-government protests. Saudi Arabia is preparing to welcome China's President Xi Jinping. The streets of the capital, Riyadh, are decorated with Chinese flags ahead of his arrival. Police have carried out raids across Germany, arresting 25 people suspected of plotting to take over the country. Prosecutors say the far-right group planned to storm Parliament. A court in Mozambique has sentenced the son of former President Armando Guebuza to 12 years in prison. Ndambi Guebuza had been found guilty in the country's biggest ever corruption scandal. The Taliban say they've carried out the first public execution since seizing power in Afghanistan last year. A man charged with murder was executed at a sports stadium. The last battle of the U.S. midterm elections has dealt another blow to the former President Donald Trump. His chosen candidate, the Republican Herschel Walker, failed to defeat the incumbent in a Senate runoff vote in the state of Georgia. A train crash in northeastern Spain has injured more than 150 people. The state rail operator says a train ran into the back of another at a station near Barcelona. Thousands of bakeries in Tunisia have gone on strike over more than a year of unpaid government subsidies. Their owners say they're owed nearly $80 million. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware
8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hey, Bill. Glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 69%. The barometric pressure is 30.08 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 13 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopses indicate fresh northeasterly winds along with rough seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next few days as a strong high-pressure system builds over the southeastern United States. Radar images show isolated showers around the Cayman area, which are drifting towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures today will be in the upper 80s and will fall tonight to the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. A small craft warning is in effect, and all small craft should remain in safe harbor for today and tonight as well. High tide will be this morning at 9:48, low tide this afternoon at 3:53, and a high tide again tonight at 8:41. The sun will set this evening at 5:46 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:48. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday evening as the strong high-pressure system lingers across the southeastern United States and over the western Atlantic Ocean. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. There was a motor vehicle accident that occurred earlier this morning in the vicinity of the On the Run gas station in Red Bay. Is adding to some delays as you coming from the east on Shamrock Road and on Linford Pearson Highway. Traffic is busy, and busy traffic on Cool Road. Traffic busy coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well as off of Agnes Way. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. Godfrey Nixon Way, a little steady traffic heading towards the traffic lights, and on Eastern Avenue, moderate flow of traffic in both directions. As we look to the Esley Tibbetts Highway, traffic is busy coming off of there, heading towards the Butterfield roundabout, and on North Sound Road, traffic is moderate in both directions. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is flowing at a good pace, and traffic is moderate on Edward Street and on Shedden Road. Not looking too bad as traffic is moderate in both directions. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Switch from slow to the fastest, most reliable network to get this exclusive Digicel Christmas offer. It costs $0 to switch. It's free and you keep your number. That's not all. Switch today and enjoy 50% off your bill for the next 3 months. Stay on any Christmas plan to get 10 gigabytes of any use data every month for a year on us. That's 10 gigs for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Hurry in store and make the switch today with this limited time Christmas offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel, Merry Christmas!
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I have a voice note here. We're having difficulties, with our system as far as playing the voice note. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to play it from the phone, put the phone by the microphone because, this is a good story, and it's important for us to know that not all of the drivers out there are uncaring. Some of them really do care, and here's an example of one. So bear with me. I'm going to try to share this with you.
Good morning to you, sir. We'll listen to you in the morning, man. Fantastic, man. You are doing a great job. I must say, the road is very dangerous every day. Every day you have to be another one's driver. On the driver, on the road, you have to keep your eye open and pay attention because by your quint, somebody can turn right in front of you and create an accident. So, good job, man. Keep up the good work, sir. Good job. Like yesterday, I was coming in to town, and at the roundabout there by the Chrissy Thomason roundabout, I coming down and I saw a lady in the road broke down. Everybody passing her, going around. The people are so selfish. I coming down in my big truck. I have to pull off the road. When I pull off the road and I look, I saw the lady car, the oil spilling out on the road, and the lady sitting down in the car like crying, and I run to her rescue and try to help her and asked her, is she alright? And she said yes. And when I asked her, she said the battery died. I said, no ma'am, the battery is not died. The oil running out under the car, so let me help you and push you across the road. And I helped her, push her across the road, and when I push her across the road, I run to my truck, grab a shovel, and start to get some of the dirt and throw it into the road because I realized that oil that running out of the lady car will create an accident, and a lot of people would be colliding. Once the oil is on the road, a lot of people would be having a big accident yesterday morning, and that's a good job I did right there. I actually run and to the lady rescue and help her. And the lady sent me a WhatsApp message yesterday thanking me so much to helping her, because everybody was just passing her, going around and leave her in the middle of the road, and I just pull over with my truck and help her. And it's good when you're a driver on the road, you're supposed to be helping each other, Anything happen, pay attention. You don't know what can happen with somebody in the morning and their car break down. You can stop, ask them if they're alright, and if you can assist, you assist them. So, that's my few words for this morning. I'm happy listening to you every morning, sir. And you have a good day, and I must say good morning to the beautiful Cayman Island and Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Nathan here. I'm out.
So we want to thank that listener for sharing his experience with us. And there are good Samaritans out there. Like, you know, the old people say, there's good and bad everywhere. Let's talk about some more good news as well. We constantly, you know, talk about people who come to the Cayman Islands, and some come for what they can obtain, what they can get. So they come to be able to assist their work here and be able to assist their families in their home countries. Some come with the intention of staying. Some come with not with the intention of staying, but end up staying, acquiring citizenship and everything. So here's a really, really feel-good story, and this one is coming from the Cayman News Service. Landowners gift 34 acres of land to rehab farm. And it says that the future of Beacon Farms in Northside, which combines sustainable food production with the rehabilitation of recovering addicts, is now secure, as the land on which the farm was established has been donated to the Beacon of Hope Foundation, the Cayman registered nonprofit that runs the facility. The farm is already gaining a reputation locally for quality produce, all of which is grown by Caymanians recovering from drug and alcohol abuse. The land was bought by the Hawk, that's H-A-U-G-H, Hawk, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Foundation, which was established by the Hawk family to support rehabilitation and inclusion programs. Beacon Farms, which was set up on that land, provides a safe, structured, supervised, clean, and sober working environment for the team of recovering addicts. At a recent event to mark the generous donation, Chief Executive Sandy Urquhart said the Hart Family Foundation's investment in the farm was life-changing. He's quoted as saying, "Beacon Farms gives people a better chance at rebuilding their lives after substance abuse. The program offers the opportunity to learn new skills, earn a wage, and gain confidence to rejoin the community. We currently have 12 members of staff employed at Beacon Farms. This donation should allow us to increase both the scale of our farming operations and the number of people we can support in the program." Urquhart also said that the farm aims to become financially self-sufficient by the end of 2025. This will be through sales of agricultural products and manufactured products as well, as its recently launched Beacon Farming Services, which offers a rock crushing and soil improvement package to other farmers. Beacon Farms has been blessed to have such a generous and caring benefactor to help us get started, said Urquhart. With the Hogg family support, we have been able to invest in the training, machinery, and land improvements needed to operate on a commercial level. We anticipate it taking another 3 years before we break even. Eventually, our farming program will sustain our social program as well. To help bridge the gap, as the direct funding to run the operations from the Hawk family is scaled back and farming operations are scaled up, Beacon Farms has launched a fundraising campaign to ensure jobs on the farm are not put at risk in the interim. Beacon Farms has a valuable role to play, helping people get back onto their feet as productive and responsible members of society, Orrett is quoted as saying. He also said, "We all have a duty of care towards those who need our help, and we hope our mankind community will provide some financial assistance until the point Beacon Farms can fund itself." The Hart family initially purchased 34 acres of land and an old farmhouse in Northside in 2017 with the idea of offering a continuum of care for people in recovery. As early supporters of the Bridge Foundation, a halfway house in West Bay, Granger and Marjorie Hawk and their son Scott Hawk recognized the challenges facing Caymanians seeking employment after leaving transitional housing and saw Beacon Farms as an opportunity to help them on the next step of the journey. Granger Hawk, who established the foundation after selling his medical diagnostics company, said that helping Caymanians rebuild their lives was a way of giving back to the community where the family has now lived for more than 40 years. Beacon Farms not only provides jobs and training, but it's also making impressive advances in agriculture. We are extremely proud of all the farm has achieved in its first 5 years and look forward to seeing what the next chapter brings. That was how Mr. Urquhart ended the interview as well. So again, we want to say to Mr. Granger Hawk and his family, thank you. 40 years living in the Cayman Islands, you have chosen to give back. We hope that many more will look at what you have done, use you as an example, and work towards making the Cayman Islands a better place for all of us. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
All right. I hear you say you smell the ganja all in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know what Bob Marley say? Smile with the rising sun. That's what it's about.
I smile with it as well, but I'm on my bicycle usually heading back home when the sun is coming up, and I smile.
Yeah, but you've never been out there on the ocean and watched the sunrise with a nice split in your hand and 4 lines overboard, and you hear one of those rods go off. It don't get no closer to heaven than that. Anyhow, finally, O.C., we coming today, but of course we're taking the long way home, but with the referendum business.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I hear a caller talking about the weed and so, but tell me something. Canada is fully legalized. The only country in the world that can import, export, and grow weed, medical, recreation, right? Name it. How much people that you hear there sitting in traffic for 3-4 hours to get 4 miles? No, the country's managed better. Cayman is a beautiful country. It just don't have no management. No management. All of the what do you think? You know, I would like them to just put a question here on board the plane for tourists coming here and just ask them if they would like to have a nice joint in the tropics and watch a sunset or a sunrise. And it will surprise you the yes that you will get. But we are living in this little bubble that the worst thing that happened to us is this ganja. Listen, see, I have watched this. I am 64 years old. And I listen to Peter Tosh and them about Mama, they hold Papa. Say they charge him for smoke ganja. And when I would run, they would hold me too. What we gonna do? No. Jamaica went on it all day with chasing the poor ganja smokers and jailing them. And then the guns started to come in. Then they started the gun court. And you know what the government finally said after 40 years, you know something? The world is making ganja with Jamaica making ganja, but we have to leave our Polish people. We got chased gunmen. I watched up there yesterday where police shoot man 3 times for Rockney hand in Jamaica. No. Cayman, I not hear nobody talk about the 3 robberies Friday night. I've never heard one person call about the 3 robberies Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
But they talking about ganja this morning. Well, if the ganja stick out the place, I know one thing. I'd rather smell ganja than get a gun pushed in my face, because I had gun pushed in my face by police, you know. And that now the prototype, you hear what I tell you, though? This president is trembling.
I can imagine,
Man,
yes.
Man got gun in your face and he trembling. That's not the pretty picture. Anyhow, I want to say to all the voters in OC, just wait, do you know if ganja would give you the courage like the liquor do, like our politician use the liquor for courage and go to telling lies? If the ganja would give courage like that, it would be legal long time, because every ganja smoker would, when he's smoking split, he'd get up the road and say, we want this.
Mm-hmm.
But the ganja, it makes you passive. All it make you do preach. You get what Bob Marley say when they shoot him? They say Bob Marley take a rest and say the wicked not resting. So I can't rest. You understand?
Got you.
And anyhow, I didn't get elected, but I know one thing. I got up talking about ganja in the House of Parliament today. It's going there. Now I don't know what I'll come out of it. But anyhow,
I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that government motion because someone shared it with me. I'm going to share that with our listening audience, so I'm sure that you will be listening into that, what the motion says as well. Elvis, thank you very much. Please stay safe and, continue to advocate for what you believe in as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Attention all food vendors, farmers, artisans, and craftspeople. The Ministry of Culture and Heritage invites you to take part in Cayman Christmas, a celebration of culture and music. It's taking place on Wednesday, the 14th of December, 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. at the West Bay Heritage Park. Vendor stalls are free. All interested vendors must register by Friday, December 9th. Call 623-8825 for more details.
JN Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at JN Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any JN Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable JN Money. JN Money, touching them again. JN Money, ranga to la friend.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I introduce my guests, I have another voice note that I want to share with our audience as well. So bear with me for a few minutes. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. This voice note might not end in the appropriate source hand for what I'm returning to. However, I think it was just a late turn or 8 or something on the talk show just now, referring to the traffic and how one could help one another and how he ran into a situation where he was able to help. Well, I have to say, I can really hear that he's not a Caymanian, but I can also say he has Cayman kind in him. And it goes back to say we have good people everywhere, not just in Cayman. We have it all over the world. And I really appreciate what he said because he was really getting to the point. And yes, sometimes we're scared to help people because of different reasons, to stop and help people on the road or give a ride. But say a quick prayer when your heart guides you to help someone. Just say a quick prayer and say, Lord, I am taking a chance with this person. Please protect me and them all the way. And I think, that's basically all we need. And I know God will work things out. But it's hard for us to say we cannot help anyone because we're always referring to mankind by words and not doing it by action. So Ethan, thanks again for your good observation and your help with the lady, because I'm a lady too. Anything happen on the road, I can't help myself. I need help. So thank you again for realizing she needed help, and that could have been someone else. Mankind, we have to act on that and walk the talk. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, I want to thank that caller also, and we want to hear a lot of positives this time of the year, the time of giving, and I think there's a scripture that talks about it is more blessed to give than to receive as well. So we want to bear that in mind. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Gentlemen, I see you all are dressed in your Sunday best this morning, or should I say your Wednesday best this morning. You must be going somewhere. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you, OC, and good morning to you. Good morning to everyone listening in by radio and watching on television. Yes, sir, it is. It is Wednesday morning, and we are going somewhere not too long from now because today is Parliament Day.
Yes.
And I think we've got quite a busy few days ahead of us in Parliament. And so, that's the reason why we're here. We're going to have to leave a bit early as well. I think you may have been alerted to that.
Yes, I have.
We need to leave at about 9:30 for Parliament that starts at 10. So I turn it over to Joey, my colleague.
Yeah, good morning, OC. Good morning to the listening public and those of you online watching on the streaming. Happy Wednesday. Enjoying the nice Christmas breeze that we look forward to all year. But as the topic was this morning, just please be considerate, be careful out there, be considerate and careful on the roads. And we're always on pins and needles this time of the year, because it's always sad when we lose someone in tragic circumstances, but in particular right around the Christmas season. So, we ask everyone to just be careful out there, take your time, and look out for each other.
Okay, yeah. I reminded my listeners this morning and viewers of the fact that the Parliament would be meeting today. Also mention the fact that we will have a new speaker in the chair as well, and you all greeted her and congratulated her on her appointment. And I just want to say to our listeners as well, sometimes we have a tendency to be critical, and I'm in that group as well. But we ask you to be patient with the new speaker. She's new in the chair. It's going to be a learning process for her. I have heard people say, when those seasoned members of Parliament, she's not going to be able to handle them. I feel extremely confident that all parliamentarians are going to be as helpful as possible with her, understanding the circumstances under which, that the fact that she has just assumed the speakership as well. Gentlemen, you want to comment on that?
I would just, I would say, consider myself at this point now a seasoned parliamentarian. And yes, we all joined in welcoming her and congratulating her. I gave her a very warm welcoming, just last week or week before, when we had a special sitting of Parliament to elect her. And I said to her at the time, it just feels right referring to the Speaker as Madam Speaker. And yes, she is, let's put it this way, she is green. And as seasoned politicians, we recognize that. And she will have our support, she will have our assistance, she will have all that we can do to help her to to grow and to mature into her position, and we recognize that takes time, and so she will. And I know that no doubt she will have the support and help as well of the Parliament staff themselves, who are there to help give her guidance and direction in the way things must go, and she will have to. She will no doubt face challenges during her term as Speaker, but I think she will rise to the occasion and be able to handle everything. If she's any in doubt, the clerk is there to in terms of the application of the standing orders. The clerk is there, and there are other seasoned people there in the MPs in the and ministers in the Parliament there that can render assistance and guidance as to how things should be and operate within our parliamentary system and what the real rules are. So I have every confidence in her this morning, as she will step into the chair and lead us through our first meeting with her in the chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important, O.C., you hit the nail on the head for us to not always be so critical, and this morning you had a very positive discussion about helping people, looking out for each other. At the end of your program every day, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you say, make sure you are your brother's keeper, and that positive message we need to remember a bit more. I think my comments when she was elevated to the chair, reflected that there was a democratic process that happened. We understand that they were not all completely in agreement on the government side. That was evident by a spoiled ballot, and later on a no vote. And we nominated persons from our side. And so a democratic process took place, and she was elevated to that chair, and she's Caymanian. And it's a Cayman Islands Parliament. We're all Caymanians in there. And so, as I said, it didn't matter who took the chair at that time, out of those who were nominated, our side or their side. I would be proud of them as a Caymanian being elevated to that position. And so, as the leader said, we're there to work with her if she's willing to work with us. And we recognize that This is her first time, and she is a young parliamentarian, both in age and her time in Parliament. And so it would be, it would be unfair for us to take advantage of that, and it certainly would not be nationalistic to support her. Not support her, sorry.
Now, gentlemen, I know you have a private member's motion that you will be introducing, as well as parliamentary questions, and I believe that you want to share those with our audience as well, amongst other things. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will start to share those items with our listening and viewing audience. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Gentlemen, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, O.C. O.C., tomorrow, which is what is commonly known as Opposition Day in the Parliament, I will be, presenting a private member's motion on behalf of the opposition, asking government to consider, as a matter of urgency, really, reviewing the recommendations in a report, and asking government to consider implementing the recommendations of the 2020 report from the Committee on Vehicle Imports and Transportation. Now, back in 2019, we put together a committee styled with that name, the Committee on Vehicle Imports and Transportation, together to examine the issues surrounding the traffic situation and vehicle situation here in Cayman. The committee was chaired by then Member of Parliament for Prospect, Austin Harris, and he presented us with a report and recommendations, basically 10 recommendations for ways in which government could, deal with some of the issues with regard to traffic and the numbers of vehicles on the road. And those recommendations sought to help alleviate some of the causes of traffic problems, including the large number of old automobiles being imported monthly into the country, primarily from Japan. And that work sort of came, the report was presented to us, and it was accepted. A number of recommendations were accepted, and work was about to begin on trying to address whatever legislative or other regulatory changes needed to be made in order to address it. But COVID stopped the recommendations from being progressed. And, the situation you have today right now is, after the country reopened, we went, we had a respite during COVID and schools being out and our country closed where the traffic situation dramatically improved. But following the reopening, things just went right back to where they were. And, we had the unfortunate experiences of what happened over the Pirates weekend in Georgetown with regard to the utter gridlock that took place that day. So the situation still continues to dog us all. And so we're asking them as a matter of urgency to review the recommendations in the report and publish a response to the recommendations, setting out which ones that they will be implemented. Now, in looking at the report that was prepared in 2020 OC, some of the changes and recommendations can easily be done, but others need a lot more thought and they need a lot more consideration. If I could, I do believe I have I do have a copy of the report, which I'm going to actually seek to table this morning. But the 10 recommendations that came out of the report are, first of all, in no particular order, but they were proposed import restrictions for Caymanians be allowed to import a maximum of 2 vehicles per year. And Caymanians importing 3 or more vehicles per year should be defined in one of 2 categories, either as a reseller or as a collector, and different rules and different things for each stream, whatever you would seek to be licensed as. Because what you see happening, and we know it is happening in a big way, is that because of the low cost of importing these vehicles from Japan, there are many individuals importing these vehicles and selling them under the radar screen, so to speak.
Informal dealers.
They exist. And so there would be an effort really to regulate that and to limit the numbers of vehicles that Caymanians can be import in a year. Also required, second issue would be the ownership restrictions. And, particularly for persons on short-term work permits, that they ought not to be own a vehicle, and in particular an automobile. So if you're here for 3 months up to 12 months, maybe renting, co-opting, and carpooling is recommended. But if they wanted to have a motorbike, say under 125 cc's, then that ought to be allowed. So that was another of the recommendations. A third recommendations were imports restrictions too for long-term work permit holders, those over 12 months. They may own a vehicle but are restricted from importing them and should be required to purchase from local suppliers and supply only. And we know that even amongst those that I talked about previously who are, informal dealers, there are expats doing that as well.
Yes.
So the issue is quite widespread, and so we believe that there is a good opportunity here for us to rein some of this in, and more, allow for things that may bring order, I think, to the automotive industry here in Cayman, who can be a dealer and who can, and a reseller. Oh, and then the big one, I think, which I think would go some way towards restricting the sheer numbers. Two, I think there should be, and we recommend that the report recommends an age restriction on imported vehicles.
Yes.
And at the moment that the report recommends that persons be allowed to import vehicles that are no older than 10 years. With a goal to further reducing that age to 6 years over, say, a 5-year period, as public transportation improves, whichever is less.
Because 10 is generous.
I think that is generous too.
Overly generous.
And so but I am glad that they recommended progressively moving it to a much younger age, no more than, say, 5 or 6 years. That's where I think it should be pitched for the importing of used cars. Because, you only see these 10, 15, some of them 20 years old that are being imported. And within 2 to 3 years, they're no longer drivable because, A, it is extremely difficult to source parts for these machines, and they break down. They're coming in with, 100, 150 miles, 1,000 miles on an odometer, and they basically are worn out. They are no longer able to be driven on the roads from where, and of the country from where they are coming from. And so it is absolutely, we think that needs to be dealt with as really, that's a real priority issue.
Yes.
And despite the fact that people importing these vehicles do pay a disposal fee, the effect of it is that, when these vehicles break down, people just abandon them where they are left, where they break down, and it doesn't move. And it then behooves, someone to go and bring it to the attention of the DEH. They've got to go and, implement then their procedures for removing, derelict vehicles off of our roads and stuff. And that process in itself takes a long time. I had a situation where there was a car that was abandoned on the road where I live, and it sat there despite. It sat there for probably about 2 months before we finally said, you know what, this is really an abandoned vehicle. It's not going anywhere. So reported it to DEH. They responded promptly, and they put the red sticker on it. They tagged it. But then that still took many weeks before they actually came back and removed the vehicle. Now, the vehicle itself was sitting just inside the entrance to the road down at Canal Point where I live. And so at night in particular, it was a danger to the traffic coming in and out of the road. So that's just one example. There are hundreds of them that lay about the place, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the age of these vehicles when they come in. Their useful life is very limited.
Would that restricting the age of a vehicle, would that be seen as one of the low-hanging fruits that could be addressed fairly quickly?
I see it as that, absolutely. I think that is one of the first things I think that could be done, and that doesn't take much to accomplish.
There were several things the committee did a very very in-depth dive into this. It wasn't just that they sat and decided. We looked at laws, they did public consultation with importers, etc. When we talk about the age, I do think 10, and I think we were all leaning more towards 7 and then moving to 5, which is what I think Jamaica did. But you also, I think there would be need for a classification of vehicles on the age, because on the heavy equipment side, 10 years isn't very old. And they rebuild, and those are meant to be rebuilt every now and then and stuff. So perhaps they may need to have a look at that it's not a blanket 10-year-old, because that may create some issues for farmers, etc., heavy equipment operators, those that can't afford new excavators, which are actually quite difficult to get, but may need to buy a 8 or a 10-year-old excavator that has been refurbished. But vehicles, it's a lot different. The vehicles aren't built built out of steel like these pieces of heavy equipment are. And of course, the wear and tear, once the engine gets to a certain point, there's not much more you can do with it. And when you look at, I just Googled just now and took the first site I found, and you can get a CIF Cayman Islands, a 2014 vehicle for $2,251. You then have to put almost 40% of that, $1,000 or $1,100 for a disposal fee, almost half the price of the car, and then you pay your duties as well. So, and I have found where that has been an issue, and I think the port also has an issue with cars remaining at the port, because persons found the $3,500 to to get the vehicle here. In some cases, $2,500. This is a 2014. You can go back as far as 2008, probably 2007. When they got here, they didn't know they needed to pay $1,100 disposal fee. They didn't understand import duties covered, included shipping, etc. And so they almost have to find the same amount of money to clear the vehicle that they found to purchase the vehicle. And sometimes these can take up to three to 6 months to get here. And so people aren't really prepared. They're not sure when it's coming, etc. So there are several issues with it. And then, as the leader said, once they break down, generally they end up on the side of the road. The numbers are staggering that the Department of Environmental Health pick up on a weekly basis. It's a full-time, because by the time they get through one neighborhood and to another, they have to come back to the first neighborhood because the cars have piled up again. So there is we really do believe that limiting the age in vehicles, which would require changes in the traffic law, would require changes in the Customs Traffic Act, the Customs CBC Act, and all of that research was done in the report. We did, we met with Customs. I think with the Customs system now, where you have to register to import anything, that will be. I think that has developed since the report was done. That would be a good way for Customs to be able to track who has imported how many vehicles for the year, etc., to find these illegal sales. But limiting the age, which and I think it's important when I speak to people out in the community that they know that it doesn't mean that you can't license a vehicle over that age, or you can't buy one locally.
Yes.
Right? So there'll still be opportunity for people to buy their first car and that sort of stuff, but you would have to buy it locally, right? And eventually that would evolve or continue to evolve as cars get older. It's just a limitation on importation.
Okay. Folks, we reached the top of the hour. Headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation with the leader of the opposition and his deputy will continue, so please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
R3 Cayman Foundation donated $60,000 to the East and New Testament Church of God's Community Emergency Response Team for the hurricane season. The donation is in line with the foundation's Shift to Readiness programming following the relief and recovery efforts from COVID-19. It's part of a wider initiative to ensure all CERTs across the islands have tools and resources to act in the event of a disaster. 25 people have been arrested in raids across Germany on suspicion of plotting to overthrow the government. The group of far-right and ex-military figures are said to have prepared to storm the parliament building and seize power. A 71-year-old minor aristocrat is alleged to have been central to their plans. According to federal prosecutors, he's one of 2 alleged ringleaders among those arrested across 11 German states. And Democrats have cemented their control of the U.S. Senate by winning a bitterly fought seat in Georgia. Raphael Warnock fended off Republican challenger Herschel Walker in a race that had been left undecided after last month's midterm elections. President Joe Biden's party now holds the upper chamber of Congress by 51-49. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, the leader of the opposition, the Honourable Roy McTaggart, and his deputy and member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hughes. Gentlemen, I know that you're going to leave us around about 9:30, so I want you to be able to cover as much as you possibly can. So right back over to you.
Yeah, the only other thing then I would mention with regard to the private member's motion, another one of the recommendations, OC, is that the recommendation is that used vehicles imported must also possess an inspection certificate that would have been completed in the country of purchase prior to the importation into Cayman. And we know that in Jamaica that is a requirement.
Yes.
And it has to be done. This inspection would include confirmation of the vehicle make, model, year of manufacture, year of registration, body type, vehicle type, passenger capacity, fuel type, maintenance record, emissions, the VIN, model number, engine capacity, and number odometer verification. That's an important one. The transmission, a lot of that, a lot of information, because what you find, I think, with some of these exporters out of, particularly Japan, is that with a lot of these vehicles, the odometer has been tampered with, and it's been rolled back. And these cars actually have a lot more mileage on them than the odometer actually shows. So there is fraud here, and it seems that it can be quite prevalent in the industry with regard to the importation of these cars from Japan. So again, that is I think one of the low-lying bits of fruit that can be dealt with quite expeditiously if government is mindful to do that. Now, I think it's important for listeners to understand this morning that we are not, my motion is not seeking to have government accept and to implement this motion, this report verbatim.
Yes.
These are their recommendations, and they all need to be looked at, closely, and see what actually works. Let's remember that this report too was compiled and presented to us when we were in government, and that's nearly 3 years ago. It was done in June of 2020, so 2.5 years ago. A lot of the work was undertaken in late 2019 and early 20. So you're talking about a 3-year period now. Some of the stuff might not be as relevant then today as it was then. So it needs to be looked at carefully. But there is a lot of information, a lot of work undertaken, and government doesn't need really to go and reinvent the wheel, so to speak, in doing this. This really is a good jumping off point for for government to launch into this, and to supplement it with whatever information or guidance that they believe that they might need in order to do so. But again, we are now almost 2 years into this government's term, and I remember at the very outset, the premier, and even more recently, said we've got to do something about the numbers of cars on the road. So I know he recognizes the issues, and that's why I'm quite hopeful that government will see fit to accept the private member's motion, and let's move forward, and hopefully, allow it to gain some traction and make some real progress in dealing with a very thorny issue in this country.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's also important, OC, to note that the member at the time, Mr. Harris, brought a private member's motion seconded by Mr. David White MP to set standards for the importation of vehicles, and it was thoroughly debated. It passed unanimously. Several members, including Minister Bryan, Minister Saunders, and others, were there that day, and it was decided that day that the House supported the creation of this committee to review the options, and there were a lot of suggestions. A lot of these things that are in there came from the debate that day, that set out the terms of reference for the committee to review, and then it was to come back to the House to be presented. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we were not able to do that, but this was sanctioned by the entire House at that time. It did pass unanimously, and there was a lot of robust debate on it. And I think the members on the other side will certainly remember that.
Excellent. Okay. You want to talk about the PQs now, or?
Let me get that. Or the paper.
Okay. While
some.
Go right ahead.
No. On the issue, on the PQs, the opposition, we have tabled a number of questions to be asked of the government in this session. I think all told there are 21 of them, and they cover a wide range of of issues or matters that we are seeking some response from or clarity from the government on. I'm trying to think. I don't appear to have that list of questions. Joey, you want to see if you can elucidate any on this?
Yeah. Sorry. I think I've lost my... There we go. We have submitted quite a number of questions. Some of them are follow-ups to the questions that we had submitted on the last sitting of the House when we were not there. But questions include what is being done to resolve the vendor issue on 7 Mile Beach. We're also asking. Second question I had was for the Minister of Housing as to what is being done with the property that was purchased on the Linford-Pearson Highway for affordable housing. What decision has been made there, and if he could tell us what they've decided to do with that property, and if it's not for affordable housing, have they identified property in Georgetown for affordable housing to replace that? We had a number of questions from Member of Parliament
Miss Barbara.
Miss Barbara.
There's one about John Gray.
Yeah.
Completion.
Just pulled it up right here. So the question was from Miss Barbara Conley, MP, to the Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Conley. Can the Honourable Minister say whether funding is now in place to hire specialist mathematics teachers in public primary schools, and if not, why was such critical funding not prioritized and funded during the last budget session? As you know, MP Conley is quite passionate about education and has been and is the shadow minister for that for education. Mm-hmm. She also fielded another question to the Minister of Education. Can our Honourable Minister share with the House the targets for improvements that she has set for mathematic passes for Year 11 students? As we know that has been quite a, I think across all all schools, a challenge with mathematics and the forms of teaching there and what standards are set. The next question from MP Conley was, can the Honourable Minister advise the House as to what role she expects teaching assistants to play in improving the education standards? And I have another one here from Ms. Conley. Again, for the Honourable Minister of Education, can the Honourable Minister provide an update on the expected completion of the John Gray High School and advise whether it will be operational by January 2023? We were invited. There was a planned tour recently. Unfortunately, it had to be cancelled on the work at the campus, but we're eager to hear what is happening there. Another question from MP Conley. Can the Honourable Minister provide an update on the initiatives underway in the interns, apprenticeship and TVET programs that form part of the government strategic policy statement? So again, she's just following up on some of the promises made by the government in those areas. And I think that was it for Ms. Connolly.
I think Mr. White has a few
Mr.
as
White
well.
has.
There's one in relation to, can the Minister update the Parliament on where the government is at with implementing the reduction in stamp duty on property purchases by Caymanians as agreed by the entire House in June, following the debate of a private member's motion brought by him and Member of Parliament, Ms. Barbara Conley.
And that's a very, very important one. And you know, that I think again received unanimous support from all members of the House, both sides of the aisle. We believe that those recommendations from that private member's motion certainly would have been very useful for Caymanians over the last few months. And we're just very, we're actually disappointed why these recommendations have not been implemented at this time. Perhaps they will come back and say they're going to actually increase some of the areas. That would be, welcomed as well. But these recommendations that were made would have gone a long way over the last several months. And I continue to get messages from persons asking, do you know when this will be implemented? Because I want to buy, but I could use those extra, the extra waivers on the stamp duty. And so I know that there are Caymanians who are waiting, trying to wait, first-time homeowners and purchasers, because as you know, we asked for a reduction in stamp duties from 7.5% to 5% for all Caymanians across the board to purchase properties, and they were waiting eagerly for this to be implemented. And it's disappointing that several months later, we've heard nothing about it, and it has yet to be implemented. So,
and certainly with interest rates going up the way they are, that would certainly help to alleviate, some of that financial pressure, especially if they're going to a financial institution to obtain a loan as well. At least that would relieve that. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, one of our listeners wanted to ask whether or not you believe that the fees for vehicles, those are licensing, inspections, and for driver's license, should be raised. The person says that we think it's been those fees, the fees have been where they are for many years, and they believe that that's a big problem why so many vehicles are on the road, because it's so easy and so inexpensive when it comes to licensing and everything else. Now, we know that for seniors, there has been a reduction in the licensing fees, but this person believes that by upping the fees, that may do. Of course, will hurt everyone as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Our guest in the studio this morning they will be leaving us around about 9:30 because there's a meeting of our Parliament today. In the studio with me is the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable McTaggart, as well as the Deputy Leader, Mr. Joey Hugh. Before you go back to your questions, gentlemen, talking about the new Speaker, we know that there are times, especially when it comes to parliamentary questions that are being asked and the supplementaries that are asked, there is some latitude that the Speaker will give. But I have listened to debates there where you have seen the Speaker trying to protect the government to a certain extent and curtailing the number of PQs, not necessarily to ensure that there's efficiency in the House, but certainly not wanting the questioner or the opposition to put the government on a spot. That is one of the challenges that I would identify that the new Speaker will be facing early in her speakership, and it'll be interesting to see, how she will handle that as well, because at the end of the day, it will be her decision as to, how many supplementaries and when to curtail those supplementaries as well.
Yeah, it's one of the things that OC, as you rightly say, all speakers engage in it to some extent, if I may put it that way. And yes, but I think we always have to remember the parliamentary protocol is that the Speaker is supposed to be fair and impartial. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just...
And fair to both sides.
Yes, yeah. To both sides, I agree. And that means, that we shouldn't, to my mind, shy away from the tough questions that need to be asked and need to be aired in Parliament. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I think sometimes a lot of the questions aren't, they are very much aimed at embarrassing a government. And that's the type of questioning, or line of questionings too, that I think sometimes Speaker may want to try to limit in some way. Not really soliciting information that is useful necessarily to the public, but to cause disruption within the Parliament and within the government.
There was also this, I think, a supplementary question where the Speaker should be more active in taking a ruling, is whether or not it's supplementary to the actual question, or they've moved on to something else. There was, some of the members of the opposition over the last few years use the parliamentary questions as sort of a investigation, or they tried to bait the minister into saying something. So the question they asked wasn't really the answer to the question written on paper isn't the answer they're looking for. And you would always hear them say, I never asked a question unless I knew the answer. So those are the sorts of things that perhaps I could see the role of the Speaker being a little bit more firm on that. Once people start to turn the question into a debate, or have start to speak for 10-15 minutes, preamble on the question, or B, whether the supplementary questions are in fact relevant to the primary question.
Yeah.
All right. And I've attended Parliament in Trinidad and BVI and other places where speakers took very strong lines on that. That if your supplementary question isn't relevant to the initial question, substantive question, they say to them, go back and submit another question if you want the answer to that, because the minister is not obligated to answer that question. So,
got you. Thanks.
So going back to the parliamentary questions, I have a few more PQs that were issued to the Minister of Lands, and that was an update on the fish market known as Red Spot in town, as to whether or not there has been any solution found for the fishermen and for the fish market, or whether they have had any in interaction or discussions with the landowner around this. Also, one in particular for my constituency, and that is the long-awaited upgrade to the Niels Godfrey Park in Washington Boulevard Swamp area. That park is used quite heavily. There'll be a Christmas function there next week, and it has no bathrooms, and it needs freshening up. It's tired, it's old. The sand needs replacing, etc. The Parks and Recreation Group do a very good job and do their best at maintaining it. But there was a sign erected soon after there was a sign erected with the drawings and the plans for the redevelopment of that park, and I was led to believe that funding was in place for it. In fact, funding was in place for it during my year, which would have continued on until January of the following year. Obviously, the funds were redirected and used for something else, but I just wanted to get an update on whether or not we will see improvements to that park, including the building of a bathroom block, as it is it's a well-used park and an important park in the heart of that community. Also, we're looking for an update on all major roads, including the East-West Arterial. There's been some information in the press about that. We see the mysterious one lane that has been paved from North Church Street to Diaz Lane. It's one lane, one sidewalk. I don't know what's happening there, but this is a Godfrey Nixon extension. It should go from Eastern Avenue all the way out to North Church Street. They put in the curbing and they paved one lane for a short distance, just a few hundred feet. The Airport Connector Road, I have been preaching it, I have been warning, and we're still not in the height of tourism season, and yet North Sound Road and the Butterfield Roundabout, and now extending up to the CMB Roundabout, is becoming gridlock. And the traffic goes on from the Godfrey Nixon Road, from the Butterfield Roundabout up Godfrey Nixon Road and down Eastern Avenue, and it moves slowly, and we're not at the height of tourism season yet. The rental car lots still have cars on there. Those are all going to end up in the road in a couple of weeks. And in a day that you have on Saturdays in particular, when you have 12 flights landing within a matter of a few hours, it is absolute gridlock. And whenever given the opportunity, whenever the gates are unlocked, I drive in there and there's no work happening. Absolutely no work. The culverts that we were waiting on seem to have been installed, but I have seen absolutely no work in the last 2 months. And that is a critical piece of infrastructure, which I can't understand why we haven't seen any work done there. They completed the 3 lanes going east and west by the Grand Harbor area, and we have seen no more. I have not seen any major road works taking place to deal with the traffic since that, other than the works being done up at the for the roundabout at the Linford-Pearson Highway, but they're not actually paving there. They're still preparing the groundworks there.
Do you think that too many projects were started at one time?
No, I don't think so. I think there's so many aspects to a project, not just paving the road, but moving utilities. Underground utilities, above ground utilities are not always so easy to do. So you can move around if you're scheduled. You can move around and do things in phases, and that's the way we were doing it. In the Red Bay area, we had to move a cemetery. It was not an easy thing to do. We had to poll all of the family members, etc. So you have these hiccups, and then so when your schedule, if CUC is going to be here next month, you go ahead and work on this project, and then you go back. Even West Bay Road, I haven't seen the Water Authority working there for a while, but they have yet to pave the southbound lanes on the top part on the southern end of West Bay Road. It's still an uneven surface. It's still unmarked properly. So even that, I haven't seen them return to. It's going to be impossible to do now over Christmas and before the end of tourism season. I don't know how they're going to do that. So we just want to see if we can get a comprehensive update on all of these major projects from the minister. And then, of course, as you said, we're asking the Premier for an update on Regen. The question specifically asked whether or not he would be meeting the government's proposed timeline for financial close. Since we submitted the question, they have subsequently done a press release saying that they will not meet it, but they're making financial progress. Hopefully the Premier will give us a little more details when we ask this question. And then I think one important one from the member from Red Bay, Sir Alan McLaughlin, was on the Seafarers Park that was so well received and celebrated when we renamed the waterfront Seafarers Way, and the park being the land that was known as the tower building site behind the Legislative Assembly. So I think we may have one or two more. We don't know if we'll get to all of these questions,
or if they will get the answers down to the House.
But this is a problem, and we wait so long to have meetings. I mean, we have a responsibility to the country and to our constituencies to ask these questions, and quite often we have to wait. The questions build up as we have to wait so long.
And it's expected to last about a week.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the agenda, there are 13 bills from the government, including 2 supplementary appropriation bills. Mind you, those are just cleanup exercises, but still, they will have to be dealt with in Parliament, and then, if I recall correctly, they have to go then to Finance Committee afterwards. So it won't be just a straight into Parliament. We'll have to have a Finance Committee afterwards. But given the nature they are, just catch up and dealing with issues that have already been approved and examined by the House, I would anticipate that it wouldn't take so long. So it's very possible a week will do it for us. So, I mean, we'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and most likely Monday next week. And then we should be pretty close to completion. It all depends on how quickly we can get through the legislation. Most of the bills are amending legislation, but we do have some substantive bills that are there before the House for approval. So there's probably about 5 pieces or 6 pieces of substantive legislation or originating legislation, not amendments.
Okay. You gentlemen will depart after the break? Or
yes, sir.
Okay. Just want to remind you that we will be closing off the show on the 16th. That would be on a Friday. So next week, Wednesday, if possible, if you want to be on, that would be the last show. I'm sure that you want to take the opportunity at that time to wish all the people of the Cayman Islands, season greetings and everything else, at that point in time. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will have an open line for you as well. I do have a few WhatsApp messages and stuff that I will share also. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
60 I'm bossy with J and money. When I trip it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. I instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Teen, bossy. Jamaica well bossy. 60 I'm bossy. We well proud.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for 2 to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J and Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J and bank account required.
The Board of Trustees of the Chamber Pension Plan invites our members to attend the annual general meeting on December 7th at 6:30 p.m. The meeting will be held at the Chamber of Commerce Boardroom in Governors Square. Come out to meet our trustees, receive performance updates, and take part in our question and answer segment. The National Pensions legislation strongly recommends that all pensions contributors and retirees remain involved and informed on their pension plans. Refreshments will be served. Please visit our website, chamberpension.ky, or email admin@pensions.ky for further details. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So our guests have left. Parliament will start at 10 o'clock. So they gave us early notice that they would be leaving early. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I was hoping that I could have asked them a question about one of the bills before the House. I see where the government is amending the anti-corruption law to include the word intentional, which in relation to public officers and MPs, which means it would be more difficult to successfully prosecute, much more difficult to successfully prosecute people for corruption in relation to the abuse of office. And I would have liked to have heard what your guests had to say about that provision. But I think that the kind of scrutiny that should be taking place on this legislation, unfortunately, isn't taking place. These things should be discussed in public in such a way that the public can have a decent understanding of what the amendments are going before the Legislative Assembly. And
what percentage of the public you believe that would really be able to dialogue and to understand the implications of intent?
Even if they don't dialogue, they can listen and learn. And I think that would, help people to become more familiar not only with the process, but be aware of what's happening. And they could hear the reasons why it's happening and have some challenge. Because if all you do is you listen to the legislature, I'm not so sure you're getting the kind of push and pull that you need on issues about why things should be done or shouldn't be done. I just feel that these things should be taking place. In other words, you see how we have this provision that gives a 28-day notice on the publication of a bill. That's not enough time to deal with complex issues. And the consultation process should really occur outside, before that. And when you think you've gotten to a point where you have it pretty much nailed down, then you publish the bill, and any kind of fine-tuning that would need to take place could then take place within that 28-day period. But the heft of, understanding the proposals and discussing them should take place with sufficient time for people to grasp what's happening. How many people are paying attention at this time of the year to these issues? Right? This is like a bad time of the year to expect people to focus on so many pieces of legislation all at one time in a short period of time and be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way.
Okay. Point well taken. Right. Point well taken. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Okay. I want to find a birthday greeting here that someone sent to me. Okay, I'll find that in the meantime. This person has opined on the traffic situation, and they say that our traffic problem appears to be one symptom of a lack of a growth management plan by successive governments. We cannot address this problem in a vacuum. Instead of focusing on how many cars are imported, we need to reduce how many people are imported. We do not have the driverless cars yet, and one person can only drive one car at a time. Only then will we be able to begin solving our problems. And with the economy the way it is, and with the economy continuing to grow, the whole issue, and certainly not enough of the local population here to address the demands on the workforce demands, we certainly have a problem unless we decide that we're going to slow things down as far as the economy is concerned. I'm trying to find the birthday one as well so that I can share that with our audience as well. We do have a caller. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to touch on what the leader said about importation of cars being over a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
I really, OC, don't think that that's the real problem, the age of the cars, I think a lot of the cars that are being imported from Japan are basically domestic cars that are not manufactured for export. And a lot of those cars, like a Japanese gentleman told me, cannot go back on the roads in Japan.
Okay.
So that's why they're so cheap to be bought and being shipped out. They can't go nowhere else but Cayman Islands. It's the only place in the world I think they can go now. So, and touching on the age of a car, Peter Thompson, if he's listening, he can clarify this. He used to live in Arizona. You could go to Arizona and get a car about 30 years old, and you'll see it is in awesome condition. No rust because it's being a desert area. So I don't think it had really a lot to do with the age of the car. It's the manufacture of the car, whether it's being manufactured in the proper way. A lot of those cars in Japan is just for export. And I just want to say, I don't know how this sounds, but I was very much concerned about importing all these little domestic cars from Japan, which might be coming from some back road or something where we still have a lot of contamination, nuclear contamination from, past bombing and, that kind of thing.
Plus you had there was a tsunami there as well. That you had a nuclear in one of the islands where you had a disaster there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm concerned about that. And you made mention while the MPs were there concerning the speaker not wanting to put the government on the spot with in certain cases. That is why I supported I think all government should bring the speaker from on the outside. That's why I called in on this radio show and supported Mr. Ezra Miller or Mr. Ard McLean to be the speaker, because I think they bring some great qualities to the seat in all aspects. So, so that's my little bit for today.
Okay, thank you very much, Lord Graham, for that. Yeah. Talk to you. Okay, so we have a birthday greetings going out to Taj Lewis. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tahaj. Tahj. Taj Lewis. He's in the United Kingdom, and the birthday greetings are coming from his nanny and his papa, Mary and Bunny Miles, as well as the entire family. Also, birthday greetings going out to Brianna McCoy from her aunt, Mary and family. And also, birthday greetings going out to Miss Vernice Miles from Mary and Bunny as well. So, Taj Lewis, Brianna McCoy, and Miss Vernice, happy birthday to all of you. Okay. One of our listeners has said, good morning, asked the deputy leader of the opposition, his government, why didn't his government finish what they started instead of beating down on other people? He was in charge of roads. Why no complaining? Well, he did explain that there were things that were started during their administration and were unable to be completed. I think we should bear in mind that a 4-year term for any government, depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, there's really not a whole lot of time to accomplish that. Maybe the Cayman Islands should be looking to have 5-year terms as opposed to 4 years. That may help a little bit in terms of governments having the ability to finish to complete some of the programs that they have started as well. But I don't think that the leader of the opposition and his deputy were really beating anyone down. It is their role as the opposition to hold the government to account, especially in those areas where they have obtained, if not tacit agreement, some form of verbal agreement for things to take place. And like their government faced, this government is also facing time constraints, quite possibly financial constraints, as well as negotiating constraints to get things done, as well. But bear in mind that whichever government, whichever party is in the opposition, or whichever entity is in the opposition, it is their job to hold the government to account. I don't believe that that is beating people down. Let's take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I go back to the phone lines, this has been shared with me. The Caribbean Travel Awards 2023. Minister Caribbean Tourism Minister of the Year, Kenneth Bryan of the Cayman Islands. And it starts off by saying the Cayman Islands is already nearing its pre-pandemic tourism totals, a rather impressive feat since the destination was one of the final Caribbean destinations to reopen for tourism after the onset of the pandemic. Leading the destination's birth has been Minister Bryan, and that is all that I have, I believe, of that. But once we have more on it, we will share that with you. But basically what it is saying here is that Caribbean Tourism Minister of the Year has been selected, and that the winner is Honorable Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Transport in the Cayman Islands. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, good morning. How are things with you?
Good, thanks. Well, it's a pity that the leader of the opposition and the deputy leader have escaped, so to speak. I wanted to ask them something regarding one of the bills that they are debating today.
Okay.
There has been some debate, O.C., about this amendment to Section 17 of the Anti-Corruption Law, which basically says that right now it says that if you are a public officer or a member of parliament and you do something that is in abuse of office in a manner that prejudices another person, that you are guilty of an offense. So what they are adding to that, they are saying that you should not be guilty unless you do that act intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have said, well, look, if you now have to prove a particular intent, then it will be very, very difficult to prosecute people. Okay, and it is looking pretty much as if now it will be very difficult if you want to prosecute somebody under this, because then if you are prosecuting, you have to say you have to prove intent. Okay. Now the first point about that is 2 points I want to make about that. The first point is that in a lot of offenses that relate to some kind of misconduct or abuse of office, sometimes there is no specific intent, okay? If you go to Section 118 of the Penal Code, 119 of the Penal Code, you've got offenses of breach of trust, or even if you do something negligent, you don't have to, under Section 119 of the Code, if you do something negligent, depending on the scale of the negligence, they can prosecute you for that, and you can go to jail for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what they are trying to do here, so in other words, the law as it stands in Section 17 at the moment, it agrees with the rest of similar provisions. What they are trying to do now is to say that you have to prove specifically that there was an intent. Okay, so that's one problem. But the second problem, and the last problem, is that, you see, they haven't even defined when they say intentionally what that refers to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are they saying that you are doing it while you are not sleepwalking? Okay? Because, and the reason I ask that is because in offenses where you want intent to be necessary, then you have to say what kind of intent it is. For example, you have to say, well, you have done something with intent to deceive.
Okay.
You have done something with intent to deprive somebody, to defraud or to mislead. But here they've just said you just do something intentionally to what end? They haven't said that, and I think this will be a fundamental problem. Conceptually, they need to be able to work on it so that, they can iron it out. I hope I haven't got too technical, OC, but I think it's a very, very important one. And by the way, in the contempt of court bill, which they have published, in that particular bill, they are saying there are certain offenses where the intention will be irrelevant. They've got a strict liability rule, so that if you publish certain things, even if they are true, so long as they think that they could have hurt somebody, whether or not you intended to, you are still guilty of an offense. That's a contradiction coming from the same government.
But before you go, Billy, so do you believe that this amendment, that it is deliberately put in place to make it more difficult to prosecute, like some persons have opined on?
Well, I won't question their motive, but I'll question the effect of what they have done. The effect which they have done is, yes, it will make it more difficult to prove. Because if I were now prosecuting a case, I have to specifically go out there and prove intent. So, in other words, I can show that somebody was very negligent in doing a certain act. Let us imagine you are a chief officer. And then you procure some goods, and then later on you find out that actually you didn't have the power to procure that value of goods. That value of goods, maybe 2 million, should have gone to the board. Okay, and you do that. Now the way the section is now, you were negligent in the way you did it. They can still charge you under this, particularly if government loses money. But the way they have done it now, to saying intentionally, you could say, well, I didn't intend to violate the regulations and so on. But that's exactly what you don't want with public officials. With public officials, they have to have a certain level of responsibility to know that you can't just do something. There have to be rules. And that is because you are occupying a position which is in trust, for the public. And that is why these offenses exist. So what they are trying to do here, they are trying to make it more difficult. It will be very hard now to prosecute people under this. I think it's wrong, and it goes against this kind of offense. What kind of ingredients you have to prove?
Thank you. Thank you very much for explaining that. You notice I've been quite quiet on that because I'm really not familiar with all of the terminology, but I'll try to get myself up to speed with it.
Well, you are all right, but I hope I haven't gotten too technical. But you understand most of this stuff. You're being modest.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
I did Google, the difficulty in legal difficulty in proving intent, and I did understand, some of it when I did some research on that.
Exactly, because intent, and that's what you are saying also, because the difficulty arises from the fact that you can't go to somebody's head and operate on him and say, oh, here's the intent.
Yes.
It has to be gleaned from what is objectively done. And by the way, people talk about this thing about mens rea, which is the guilty mind, as you know. And a lot of people are assuming that a guilty mind necessarily means an intention to do something. No. A guilty mind can be recklessness, negligence. There can be a specific intent, not specific intent, and so on. So that what they call a guilty mind is not always like an intent to do a specific thing, but sometimes even just carelessness is a guilty mind.
Okay. Thank you, Billy.
Thanks,
all the best to you. So, folks, I'm going to share with you now this government motion, 3 of 2022/2023. Bear in mind, this is a government motion, so don't let anyone confuse you to believe that the government is passing any legislation when it comes to a national lottery and the decriminalization of small quantities of cannabis. So here is what the government's motion reads. It says, whereas Section 69 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009 provides that a law enacted by the Parliament may make provisions to hold a referendum amongst persons registered as electors in accordance with Section 90 on a matter or matters of national importance, and whereas the matter of whether decriminalizing the possession of small quantities for personal use and consumption of cannabis is in the best interests of the islands and its residents, and whereas there has been much debate for many years on the subject of introducing a national lottery, and whereas in September of 2022, the government indicated that it was considering holding a referendum on the subject of decriminalization of cannabis and the introduction of a national lottery, be it now therefore resolved that the following be declared matters of national importance. A, whether a national lottery should be introduced in the Cayman Islands, and B, whether the consumption and possession of small amounts of cannabis should be decriminalized. And be it now therefore further resolved that the said matters be specified in a bill and brought by the government to this Parliament for debate in accordance with the provisions of Section 69 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009 as amended. And it is moved by the Honorable G. Wayne Panton, and that is the motion. So it is a motion for a referendum to be held, and for that bill be brought, a referendum bill be brought to by the government to the Parliament for it to be debated as well. Ms. Susan, we didn't have anyone on hold, right? Phone lines are closed off. Okay, so folks, again, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity. And if you have to extend a helping hand, or if you have to lift someone up, either physically or financially, just remember these words: he ain't heavy, he's my brother. That makes the lifting, the heavy lifting, so much easier. He or she ain't heavy, he is my brother, or he is my sister. And it doesn't have to be a relation by blood. The mere fact that it is another human being that you're talking about, that you're considering, that should be enough. So, if you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station. Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dweedy Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Also remember on Monday that we will have a show. I'm expecting to get some more detailed information in relation to it, but the plans are to have some persons in the studio and to have some of our older Caymanians who may not be able to come into the studio, to have them on the phone lines to talk about the Cayman Islands, to talk about Christmas in the years past, have them reminisce as well about Christmas. We want to continue to involve our older persons in our discussions in our community. That helps to keep them active. That helps to keep them young as well. So starting on Monday, we will have that right here on For the Record. Folks, please stay safe. Have a great day. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman